Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts, episode 546. My name is DoorToDoorGeek. This week's episode is brought to you by longtime Podnutzians, Al F. Thank you very much for your support on Patreon, and thank you very much for all the support throughout the years and all the emails and all the connections. We are joined this week by Ivor and Josh. How's everything going, Josh?
Going well, Door. It's been a busy 2 weeks since last time. I've been building a shed. I think I sent you a picture of that. It looks like a little barn. Trying to finish that up, and then broke out the smoker for the first time in quite a while today and did some salmon and some sausages and some kind of beef jerky, a couple pork loins. So,
Dang.
Yeah, it's been good.
Okay, I'll be by in about an hour.
Sounds good. You're always welcome.
Very cool. Hey, Ivor, how's everything going, man?
Hey, Dora, it's going pretty well here, thanks. Just carrying on, just keeping on, trying to manage 3 kids and all the things that they need. Had to take one to the hospital the other day because she had whiplash from a go-karting incident.
Oh, no.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
now she has 5 kids.
Therapy. I do, but three of them live with me. 2 of them don't. 2 of them I just give money to occasionally.
I understand that. For me, it's been a rambunctious week, I'm going to say, in the sense that my wife, I always insist to my wife, separation makes the heart grow fonder. Mm-hmm. So the whole week I kicked her out of the house. She's been in Ocean City, Maryland, with some friends enjoying beverages and nights out kind of thing. She's not going to come back for a couple of days, so it's just been me and the boys, and I love them dearly, but they are really testing every resolve I have left.
How old are your boys now? 11?
11 and 14 years old. And this morning, when I woke up at 5:10 to get ready to go to work because I'm stupid, I come out of the bedroom, I start to go towards the bathroom, and I hear coming out of my oldest son's bedroom, so I just do what so I do what I'm doing in the bathroom. I politely knock on his door, open the door. I say, dude, don't stay up all night, go to bed. And then he gives me a fake snore. Dude, I'm not stupid. I heard you laughing. Go to bed. Don't be up all night. Okay. So, yeah. And I got them both haircuts this week, and I tried to explain to them. Let me cut your hair, and then maybe you could buy more video games. They said no. So they insist we go to this place called Sports Clips, which is a complete first world phenomenon, is what I want to say. $20 a pop. They sit in a chair. They get a hot towel on their face. They get like a massage with a toy, looks like, and then a haircut. And I'm like, you guys could have just gotten like 4 games. Instead, you got haircuts. They don't get it at all.
For that price, you could just buy a Floby.
Floby? What's a Floby?
Oh man, it is the most scary thing you've ever seen in your life. If you ever seen Wayne's World, it's a contraption connected to the end of a vacuum cleaner that you then like suck the hair through. If you like bowl cuts or something, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, well, that's what we do in our house. It's just the wife gets them outside and cuts away with a pair of clippers, and next thing you know, they've got no hair. I should get her to do mine next, actually. It's getting a bit long.
Well, I'll say I'm not. I literally cut my own hair for years now. I just tell I used to tell my wife, now I tell my oldest son, just trim my neck because, I can't see it. Because, it just looks bad. In the Android world, I will pull a Mark and ask, do you guys have any hardware news or any like big news items that caught your eye?
I got one. This is the Firewallla. Now,
excuse me?
Android use. This is the Firewallla, with a Firewalla. You can see it there, the Firewallla. There's a little red box you attach to your router, and it acts as a firewall and VPN server that you can access from outside of your network, so that any traffic you have on your mobile phone or laptop when you're outside of home goes directly through your home network. So that's really useful. And it's originally started as a Raspberry Pi. You can see just in there's the chip for the board. That started as a Raspberry Pi, and they've started making their own chips now, I think, but it started off as a Kickstarter with a Raspberry Pi in there. You've got a RJ45 cable and a USB, and in here is a 16 gigabyte memory card. I don't know why they need a 16 gigabyte memory card, but that obviously stores all the logs and everything. And then a micro USB power supply, and that all goes onto your the router. Now, I got this because it gives you very granular control over everything that's attached to your network. I know you can get a certain degree of control from your own router, from logging into your router and picking up all the devices that are there. But this one just goes to another level, and it's really impressive what you can do and what you can see that's going on with your network. It tells you exactly where your data is going. So like every morning, I know that all my Google Home Minis are going to send 1.4 megabits of information back to San Francisco and tell Google exactly what we've been looking at or what we've been asking Google Home to do. The only problem I've had with it is the 5G, the 5 gigahertz band on my router has been spotty. So some people, they've been losing the 5 gigahertz connection, but the 2.4 gigahertz seems to be fine. The other issue is I've set blocking rules on all my kids' devices. So from 10 o'clock at night, the internet goes off and it comes back on again at 7 a.m. There's been a problem with the timing. I think the actual timing they take comes from the server that's the Firewallla server that's in the States. So it's taking United States time and not local time. So past 7 a.m., all the kids come to me and say, it's time for my computer to come back on, but it's not working. So I've had to take all those blocking rules off and log a ticket with the Firewallla people. But very, very impressed. Only $100, cost me $100 Australian, $108, American, which is about 150, 160 here. So I'm very happy with that. That's my new piece of hardware.
Well, I mean, to the layman, how would you explain the benefit to this?
Well, it's not really for a layman. It's for someone who likes to tweak and mess about with what their network is doing. So if you're a network freak, you can get right into the details about what any single device on your network is doing, where it's sending its data, what IP addresses it's using, and then you can set rules around what device can and can't connect. You can set so like for my daughter, I can give her internet access, but I can block all social sites, so she can't do any social media. For my son, he's getting to that age, so I can just give him access to the internet, but I can block all pornography and gaming sites, so he has to do his homework and he'll still have the internet. It's really quite sophisticated, and you can play around with it for hours and with different combinations, and it monitors it in real time, shows you a nice little graph about how much data is going up and down and which device is using that data, and it'll send you alerts when a device sends an unusual amount of data somewhere, either download or upload. It'll tell you straight away on an alert on your phone.
What's the software?
Sorry, Karen.
Oh, do you know what software it's running? Is it open source? Is it proprietary?
Python. I think it's running some Python code on there. I'm not exactly sure, but it is. I think it's fully open source. Yeah.
Nice.
But if anyone has any questions, I will post. I will send Dor to put some links in for an article that did a full review on it, which was really, really quite good, and the actual Firewallla site itself has some pretty good explanations of what it does and how it does it.
Very cool. And I will say the two things about it that really catch my eye is it offers a VPN, which means if you're out at a coffee shop with your mobile phone that you have configured to use the application, you can in one click have a secure connection from that coffee shop back to your home network And then
Yep.
after your home network, it's like in the clear kind of connection. So you can at least be secure when you're at like hotels, coffee shops, and fast foods.
And you can access all your network files. If you've got shared network files, you can access all of those. And it will, if the public Wi-Fi network that you're connected to has certain rules about what it can and can't do, it'll just circumvent those and go around. It's not a VPN you have attached all the time. You have go running all the time. It's only when you're out and about. You still would use a VPN, a regular VPN, and I still do use a regular VPN service.
Do you recognize that hardware layout, Door?
Well, he said he thought it was Pi related, but looking at it, having the two things sitting right there, then I'm going to say it's more than likely either an Orange Pi or it's a Nano Pi Neo.
Yeah, first thing I thought was an Orange Pi Zero.
Right. Well,
it's the size of two matchboxes together. Yeah, it's really small.
Oh yeah, it is quite small. I'll say. For most people, I'll say the cheaper version, the red version, which is only 100 megabits, will suffice for a lot of what you're doing, because a lot of what you're doing is not going to have everything go through this. This is more like a rules-based engine. Only if you demand absolute speed and performance when you're on the road with your VPN would you need to worry about getting the blue version, which is almost twice as much. The real question, though, is it says it can do ad blocking.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I was going to say, I have been so disappointed with virtually everything I've tried to like install as a solution for ad blocking. Everything I've tried requires a good amount of legwork to get like running correctly.
Yeah, the ad blocker, they say this, they're very upfront about this. They say the ad blocker is designed to stop. It doesn't look exactly, oh, you've got one there.
No, I don't. I have a Nano Pi Neo case.
Oh, well, that's exactly the same.
And then, and there's the back of it where it has the USB and the Ethernet, and there's the front where it has the other two. Yeah.
The other thing is it has a built-in list of bad websites or malicious websites. So all your traffic that goes through your router is checked against this list, and it's updated obviously every now and then. So it just checks that you're not connecting to any malicious websites as well. So there's that additional security.
Are you not having any luck with your Pi-hole, Door?
Oh, it doesn't block anything. I literally don't have it connected to my router as being a network-wide solution. I have a computer here that points to it to do its ad blocking. I have a computer here that doesn't use it. I go to the same website with the default configuration, and on the plain vanilla connection, I see hypothetically 20 ads. On the Pi-hole, I see like 17 ads. It's virtually pointless out of the box unless you go and you configure a lot of extra block list on it, is my finding.
You've got a Pi-hole too, haven't you, Josh?
I do, yeah. And I added a few block lists to it, and yeah, I find it works really well. It wasn't working for a while, and it was something to do with the configuration got messed up, and I had to go back, and because you have to set it as your DNS in your router. And so once I got that sorted out, it works quite well, I find.
Well, and I'll say, even when I have it set on my router as my DNS on my mobile device, it doesn't seem like it does anything, is what I'm going to say. And I think it's because on Android, using the Chrome browser, they have their own little, special sauce to try to make sure that all the ads get through. To me, I'll say this is not for the layman, this Firewallla, nor is this for the expert nerd. This is for somebody who is aware of, privacy, aware of information leakage, aware that their kids spend too much time doing X, Y, or Z, and you want a simplified solution to help with your ordeals. I love the fact that it alerts you when new things are on your network. That right there is something that not a lot of things offer.
Yeah, I went through and I identified every single device that was attached to my network, and I was able to change the name of it and everything, so it made sense to me what was attached, and it became very, very clear that anything that wasn't supposed to be on there would be picked up very, very early.
Gotcha. Very cool. Josh, you have any hardware related news?
Yeah, I finally received that Lenovo that Ivor suggested I pick up some more non-computer related Lenovo hardware. So yeah, I've got this watch.
It will catch fire. It will burst into flame.
It's not
and explode.
Samsung. Yeah, so that's it. It's a fitness tracker. I got it yesterday. The battery has gone down one small bar, and it's the first time I've ever had one of these things, so I don't really know what to expect. I guess you just try to get 10,000 steps and then you're golden. I don't know. Then you win a prize or something. It is pretty interesting how, in order to charge it, which took me quite a while to figure out, you actually take off one side of the band.
Oh.
And then it's just a USB that you plug in. So we'll see how long that lasts, or how long I actually want to wear this thing. But that's my hardware news. It's got a Lenovo Life.
This is the budget version of the Honor GTS, and I use this mainly for messages. And it was working fine for a while, but last week they did an update, and now no encrypted messaging gets through to this. Only your standard messaging apps will show up on this, or other things that are happening on your phone. But I don't get any, because I use Signal as my main text messaging app, and this won't push them through to my phone. So there's a big waste of money.
Yeah, I think that I paid about $25 Canadian for this. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So if anybody has any tips on what to do with a fitness tracker besides track fitness, I don't know.
The constant heart rate monitoring?
Well, it does. It says it does. It seems to be kind of sketchy. Sometimes it'll like show it and then it'll just disappear. So I may be half zombie. I'm not sure.
After eating all that meat, you want to keep an eye on your blood pressure.
That was like, it's like a keto fridge, that smoker. You just open it up and it's just meat.
A vegan's nightmare.
How about you, Dor? Do you have any hardware?
No, I don't really have any personal hardware news. I have some generic, I'll say, hardware news. And I will say, in the beginning of the year, I made a prediction. I'm 90% sure it was on this show. I made a prediction that by the end of the year, Microsoft would release a Android branded device. And I'm not going to say I was right. I will say I'm as right as I think I'm going to be. What happened was basically Samsung held a event, and a surprise guest on the stage was the head of Microsoft, the president of Microsoft, to talk about how Windows is now going to be much more embedded inside of Samsung devices. First and foremost, it's going to be on the newest Note device, to where basically it's going to do everything to track you, record all your data, and it's going to make it more seamless when you want to go from a Microsoft app on your Windows 10 desktop to a app on your Samsung device. So if you like losing all your privacy and you are forced to use Windows, because let's admit it, most of us are forced to use Windows, this might be a solution that you're happy about. I honestly can't picture it being a good experience. Just because Samsung bloatware is some of the heaviest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And Windows 10 is like branded bloatware. So, if you need to use a Samsung for your job and you need to use Windows for your job, then this might actually work for you, is what I'll say.
I cannot stand Samsung, and I cannot stand Microsoft. So two of, it's the evil alliance, really, isn't it? Samsung and Microsoft.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say the link in the notes is going to be to a website I've never heard of called GeekWire. And when I was looking at this article, I realized scrolling down, they literally have an a 29-minute audio clip associated with the article, and they basically have a podcast. And this was one of their podcast episodes talking all about it. And of course, they were just, you know, gushing all over about how fantastic this was going to be. And not surprisingly, they're a website out of Seattle area. So, they're all about the Microsoft and all about the Amazon. They're the two best companies that ever existed as far as they're concerned. But it's another podcast I subscribe to just to make sure I hear all viewpoints is what I'll say.
Did anybody catch? I'm putting it into trying to put it into the chat. Oh, it's too many characters. The Google Pixel owners class action lawsuit.
I did hear about it, but I'm sure it's the kind of thing lawyers will make a lot of money. Anybody who actually owns a Pixel will get like 15 cents.
Yeah, it said it said $20 for I think most people will get $20, and if you can prove that it was an issue, then you get $500, I think.
I wonder what false Pixel 4 is going to come out with, because every single Pixel that's ever come out has had huge issues on launch, and you have to wonder really what they're doing with the quality control and testing on those phones. And every single tech journalist just gushes about them.
Well, that's because they get them for free.
Well, yeah. If I got one for free, I'd probably gush about it too.
Yes, I have the original Pixel as well, and I never had a problem with the microphone, but it didn't take too long before the headphone jack went to mono. But
HTC made that one, didn't they? Or was it Lenovo?
So what this, just reading these articles about this lawsuit, it made me wonder as well how much information, if you collect that $20, how much information about you Google gets. I'm sure they already have it all anyway, but is it worth it to them to just pay $20 or $10 or whatever to buy, a million people's information?
Oh, they'd make that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, exactly. So that's what I'm wondering. These lawsuits, I was just wondering if that could be an avenue for people or companies to just basically buy people's information and call it a class action lawsuit or something. Conspiracy theory.
Yep. Put your tinfoil hat on, mate.
Well, no matter what, they will only do something if it's financially beneficial to their shareholders. So for them to offer quote unquote free money, it definitely comes at a price. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. And I'll say I had another prediction in the beginning of the year that also seems to be coming true to a degree. Of course, not completely accurate, but it seems like it might be partially accurate. And I said, by the end of the year, Google will release a fuchsia-based device phone kind of thing, and they're not. But Huawei had an event also last week where they unveiled their HarmonyOS, which is the American translation to it, or the English translation to it. It's actually Homage OS. And they wouldn't say what it was based off of, but they said certain key phrases like microkernel, and they said like 5 keywords is what I'll say, that all hinted that they basically took the Fuchsia source code and forked it and made their own operating system based off of that. We will not know. We will not know for a while. I don't believe they're planning on having the first device release until very late 2019, and I believe it's not going to be a phone. It's going to be a home appliance. I think it was a television, actually, was their first device.
So this is still related to Android, at least. It's if not Android proper, it's still a distant cousin.
Well, if it's Fuchsia, it's what they hope is what it appears like they hope to be the successor of Android, shares no code base with Android, and shares no interoperability with Android because of Android is essentially Java based without using Java. It uses all the Java coding language, and then they're switching over to stuff like Arc and other things where they're trying to slowly get away from Java. And Fuchsia is a complete and utter separation from that. It's similar in Android in the sense of it's built to be scalable and modular. The biggest difference is Android is based off of Linux. Fuchsia is not.
Okay. I mean, I think this is probably going to stay for a while within the Chinese market. They're still, it's not going to make an appearance outside of China for a long time until they get all the bugs sorted out. And they're starting it off with IoT devices, but I think within maybe 2 to 3 years they'll start having Android, or no, not Android, but phones that are loaded with this OS, and they'll sell them to Chinese people, and they'll be damn cheap as well. So be interesting to see where this is going to go in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time. Long time.
Well, is it a possibility that it could be put out as a ROM that you could actually?
Well, I'll say this, yes, but what it's going to literally take is someone to get a device with one of these off of it and then pull the software off of it and then upload it. The unfortunate thing is then it's only going to be really compatible with similar processors and chipsets. So even if it is ripped to be a ROM, it's going to take months and months and months of investigation and work to try to make it compatible with other devices.
Well, isn't it? It's open source, is it not?
No.
Oh,
No.
It's not open source.
Nope. Well, they didn't say either way, is what I'm going to say. I'm going to assume it's not. At least I don't believe they said. Oh. It says HarmonyOS will release it as an open source platform worldwide along an open source foundation and community support project. So right now it's not open source, but they plan it to be. Ah, interesting.
Yeah, that'll be spectacular.
Or a glorious train wreck.
Which would be spectacular.
Which would be spectacular. Sticking with like more world things, I just wanted to mention this website really quick because it was utterly elegant is the only way I can put it. And it's a French-based website. And if you don't know nothing about French and programming and French and code and French and distributions and French and hardware, their goal seems to be always elegance first and usability first. Like how easy is this stuff to use? This website, CryptPad.fr, CYPT, PAD.fr, French-based website. You don't need any installed application, but it works on your phone, harkening back to the original iPhone mobile web applications kind of thing. So if you go to CryptPad.fr and you basically just click on rich text, it will load basically in a full screen browser on your desktop or on your mobile device, a really rich collaborative based text editor. Here's the kicker. It's called CryptPad for a reason. None of the information you put in any of these apps is stored in a decipherable fashion on the server. You have the keys in your browser, so you can literally save the credentials or create an account. You can either create an account or save like a link to the pad, and it will stay there for like a length of time. Or if you create an account, it will stay there forever. It is unbelievably smooth and functional, is what I want to say. So if you're using like a Chromebook, and here's the thing, you're using a Chromebook or a larger Android type tablet, and you need to have like direct access to a rich text editor, a code editor, a presentation editor, a spreadsheet, which is still in beta, a polling type software. I don't even know what Kanban is, but I think it's like a Trello type thing. A whiteboard or a encrypted drive, all via your browser. You need to check out CryptPad. I gotta say, unbelievably polished piece of software there on that website.
Yeah, the French are really getting into this privacy issue and trying to distinguish themselves from Google services. I use a French search engine called Quant, Qwant, and that's also based in France, and it's really good. It, I'd say, is the equivalent to Google, and they don't collect any of your data or information. They just provide you with really good search results. So this is probably another step to the European model. I think they're quite serious with the what do they call it, the latest legislation they've got there for privacy.
Yeah.
Oh, I've forgotten what it's
I
called.
literally can't remember what it's called, but yes, it's the
GDPR.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So
yeah, and it looks like all of these apps will keep the data on their server for 3 months of inactivity. So you could literally save the link, 2 months later, go back, and you can access all of that data, and it's stored in a fashion they cannot decipher it, which is, to me, key. This is unbelievably smooth. I wish I could self-host this myself just for a little bit added, paranoia, feeling safer kind of thing. But for right now, I am going to use this at least once in a while and just see how it goes. I'm really impressed with it.
yeah, it looks really good.
Very cool. Another piece of hardware I just wanted to throw out there. This phone, I want to say, is in its 3rd iteration. And I'll say, I think, it's going to take another version or 2 for it to really catch traction. And that is the Fairphone. Fairphone 3 coming soon, ethically sourced materials and a modular design. That's, to me, the real thing that I like about it. I will say, the way that materials are gathered for phones and the way phones are disposable and all the materials that go into the phones, we need to try to make them more friendly to everything, is what I will say. So I really would like to see the Fairphone get a little bit more traction. I still don't think this is a phone that can catch mass appeal, is what I'll say. But I do think that its time is coming if they're able to hang in there. And I love the idea of a modular design. I love the idea of being able to snap components out of the back and like adding more storage or like a better camera.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's fun.
Yeah.
This isn't Android related, but it is health related in a way. Have you ever, or are your glasses blue light blocking?
Nope.
That's something that is becoming popular now. These glasses, when I bought them, I had this. It's basically for screen viewing, and apparently the blue light is pretty bad, and you get headaches and eye strain and things like that. And so my wife actually used a pair today that she doesn't wear eyeglasses at all, but wore these that are specifically for blocking the blue light. And she said it was fantastic and made all the difference in the world. So just a helpful hint, maybe if you're using screens a lot during the day, to look into getting a cheap pair of blue light blocking glasses.
I'll just say that there has been a couple studies on them. I would encourage her to not wear them every day, or she'll probably see a sharp diminishing result in like less than 2 weeks. She'll feel exactly how she felt before she put them on. I think of it as Curtis Bay, Maryland. Has a soap factory in it. You know you're there when you drive into the town because it smells horrible. But the people that live there day in, day out don't smell anything because they're there every day. But if they leave for vacation for a week and come back for a couple of days, it really stinks to them. I would encourage with that kind of thing, you don't wear them day in, day out kind of thing.
Well, that's why you're the doctor, Door.
I'm something all right. I like one more hardware related link I wanted to just throw out there, and it's only because this is the kind of thing that we've been trying to like share and do in the past on this show for a very long time. And it goes along the same boundary as like, you know, treating your phone as a not a completely disposable thing, but it basically was a link that showed 9 cool uses for your old smartphone that you have just laying around the house. And I will say, having an old phone around your house is actually really beneficial, even if you just use it as a clock, which of course they don't show it as a clock, but they say you could use it as an alarm clock. Universal smart remote. A lot of older phones had IR blasters in them to where you could literally control televisions and the such. So even if you have an old phone, it might have that built into it. You could literally use it as a remote, or if you use something like Kodi or Plex, you can use it as a remote over your network. Home security systems with the IP cameras, you can use that. But I will say one of the usages that is now making news here in the United States for the last couple weeks is people getting as many old phones as they can possibly get and setting up basically what they call farms, where they basically click things for money. And, you know, every month or so they can make like $100 or so off of them. But that's just one of them. You can use them as e-readers, baby monitors, track pads for computers. There's a whole wide list of things you can do with them. I heavily encourage people, if you have an old Android device, put it to use, because don't just, you know, throw it away.
I'm intrigued in this farm idea. What are you talking about? What?
All you got to do is just Google search Indian phone farm, and you'll find hundreds of phones on a rack having little mechanical fingers pointing at them, manipulating the phone. We've all seen the thing on like YouTube or Reddit where it's Tinder open and it's a guy's phone and it just constantly will swipe to the right on every single girl that pops up. Same principle, but instead of Tinder, they're literally clicking on ads that they're getting some kind of kickback for clicking on them. Because here's the real gimmick. If I click on an ad, Google has to pay somebody else for the ad. Well, that somebody else then gives me a cut back of that ad. So for every like 10,000 times I click their ad, they make hypothetically $1,000 and they give me $200. It's a scam, just like ads have always kind of been, but you know, with phones.
I have never heard of such a thing. I'm looking at a video now.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
If there's a way to work reviews and scams and make, you know, ads or reviews for somebody to profit off of them, they'll figure out a way.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see me at all?
Nope, your profile picture's up.
Sorry, I just had to go because my son, he's homesick today and he decided he was just going to throw up everywhere. So it was a bit exciting, but I've got it sorted out now, but I'm just trying to rejoin the Hangouts, and I'm obviously back in audio, but the video's not working. So what I'm going to try to do is just restart my computer and see if that works.
Gotcha.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right.
Okay.
Okay. See ya.
So I'll ask you, Josh, do you have apps in the queue, or were there any other news type things that you saw of?
No, that's about all for the news. But I can start off with a an app. If we're gonna bring apps this show, this one is called Handyman Calculator, and it is a calculator. It's an app that has all sorts of functionality. If you're a contractor or just like to build things, it has a square footage calculator, which, whatever, but apparently it has a time tracking tool as well, and some other business related, like an invoicing part, which I definitely have not got into, but many different types of calculators, material calculators, and then it also does conversions, metric to feet and inches. So, I mean, the list is huge as to what it does.
So-
I had
So here's an American question. In America, I know a 2x4, a piece of wood, is not 2 nor 4. It's different. So in Canada, do you have the same thing? And then hypothetically, because what would be great is if you could take measurements and this thing could tell you, like, what kind of materials that you need.
I believe it does do that, and it also, if you put in 2 feet, it'll give you a whole list of the conversions, millimeters, centimeters. I don't even know what else.
What the hell are they?
Right. But a 2x4 is still a 2x4 up here, Door. The only thing I've come across is plywood. Plywood will sometimes come in 13 mil instead of ½ inch or something like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, as a 2x4 is actually 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches.
Right.
So I think it started off as 2x4, and then they plane it down, and then you end up with a finished board.
Yeah, that was the explanation I heard when it was first made. It was 2x4. Then when they got the 2x4 to make it usable, they had to plane off each side a little bit, which brought it down to that measurement. Which makes sense.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, if anybody's on the fence about getting this free app, I guess I didn't even go over that. It's got 4.5 reviews out of 22,000. 4.5 average reviews, 6.8 megs in size, over 1 million installs. It's been a while since it was updated, May 22nd, 2018. But I mean, it's all right here, listed in This Old House magazine, the TOH Top 100 Best New Home Products 2013, and Bob Vila newsletter. So, I mean, what else do you need to know?
How to say, holy crikey, if you look at the description of this thing, it literally has everything from, like you said, time tracking tool, contractor calculator, woodworking calculator, asphalt calculator, farming calculator, flooring calculator, bid calculator, project calculator, job estimate. And it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and literally keeps going and keeps going.
It's nuts.
My goodness. Wow. Yeah. So if you're into this is the kind of app, to be honest, Mark should have on his device. So when he wants to do his projects, he can, figure out the side things that he needs.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff on here, like a sine bar calculator, voltage drop and divider calculator. I can't even say some of these words.
I'm sure somebody will need it at some point in time.
It's a
Yep.
Oh, it's a BMI calculator, which isn't that body mass index.
That's what I think.
I'm not sure how that fits in, but I guess
I don't know.
If you're,
I don't know. It also has a magnetic flux converter, which sounds like, something from the Back of the Future.
Yeah. Well, it says it has a metal detector as well. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to open up and browse for sure.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah, and this was by Handyman Calculator, so it's the same app name as the same company name. Very cool.
It looks like you could get lost in there for for days and not have a clue what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, this app I'm going to bring, I'll say this, I can't use this from what I know whatsoever, but I still find it cool, and that's because I believe it's a Windows only application, or only workable with a Windows computer at your home. It's called Checker T, Check It Check It Ooh. File and Download Manager by Check It Tools. 69 reviews. E for everyone. Does contain ads. Free to download. No in-app purchases. 4.7 average reviews. Updated August 11th, 2019. 28 megs in size. 10,000 plus installs. Current version 1.1.0. 4.4 Android and up kind of thing. Permissions, really nothing. Just internet access so it can deploy the ads down. But here's the gimmick. You install an application on your Windows desktop. You install this on your Android device. You're on the road. You say you want to download something. You can save the URL for the download, open up this application, add it to this application, and the file will then be downloaded to your home computer. And you can monitor all your downloads that are going on your home computer. And if you download video or audio, you can then stream that to your phone. This to me is a pretty powerful, I'll say, application for people who don't want to use up their mobile bandwidth for heavier downloads, is my logic.
Yeah, and you said it's only for Windows though?
I believe it's a Windows only app. I don't think it works on Mac or on Linux.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It says that it costs $2.99 US a month or $22.99 a year.
Ah.
And yeah, that is an an interesting name. Checketry. What is that? What does that even mean?
I don't know. It confuses me. Well, I'll say this. I know more than a couple of people that are bandwidth limited on their mobile device, and it would probably cost less money to pay each month for this app than to get their bandwidth on their phone upped. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It says, Checketry works for all types of software and files. It is also 100% free. And then it goes through all the things that it can do, types of files, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, note, some of these features are only available to check that word premium subscribers. So I guess mileage may vary.
Yeah. Could be worth checking out, but only if you need it, kind of thing.
But then I'd have to install Windows.
I know. We're not installing Windows.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have another app there?
I do. So this one is called Boating US and Canada. I put it in the chat here. It's by Navionics, SRL. And it's maps and navigations. It's quite a spendy app. So there's 50,000 plus installs. And there's something going on that's kind of funky here. I think they may have gone to another version. We're going to discontinue this app. So yeah, it's basically, I'm bringing Navionics. This is the one I had. And if you're a boater, you probably already know about this, but if you don't, then this is a fantastic app.
Well, they have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. And so basically it's navigation for when you're on the water, lakes. So and
they literally have like 30 apps in the store. So which one is it again?
Well, it's Boating US and Canada, but it also says that it's discontinuing. And so, it's going to Boating HD. And so actually I went fishing with my nephew on a friend's boat on Saturday and had this. And so it gives you depths and it gives you buoys and things like that. So we were able to just look at the terrain at the bottom to try to find somewhere that was good to go fishing. But it's
Gotcha.
it's a really good app. It is expensive, which I think that one was $34.
Yeah,
And
in the US it's $21.99 for either the one that's going to go discontinued. Oh, it looks like when I go to Boating USA and Canada HD, that also said it's going to be discontinued. It said it's going to search for Boating HD Marines and Lakes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Boating HD Marines and Lakes. This one's free with in-app purchases and ads, which I'm going to guess it's going to be $21 here in the US. But here's the thing. You can say it's expensive. It doesn't matter. You know why? Fishermen and boaters will pay any price for anything. That's the one thing I found out. They don't care how much something costs. If they think it can help them in any shape, way, or form catch a fish that doesn't even know he's being hunted, they'll happily pay the money for it.
yes, a lot of boaters, I think, will have this on a tablet, and that will be their navigation system for their boat. And yes, you're correct on that. The boating, it's basically, I've found that there are two words that quadruple the price of anything, and they're both 4 letters, and they both start with a B, and it's boat and baby.
Oh,
You throw that in front of any product, and the price quadruples.
well, and I'll say in the US motorcycle or RV, a fridge for my house, $300 to $1,200. A fridge for an RV starts out at $1,200. You can't get cheaper.
Right.
It makes no sense. And a motorcycle, I can get a kickstand, which is just a piece of formed metal, and I got to pay like $150, where it literally should be like a $15 piece. But I'll say this: the bad thing is, it looks like you cannot just outright buy this app, Boating HD Marines and Lakes. It looks like they're going to what everyone is going to, which is a subscription service.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what, when I open mine up, it says that the subscription is over. However, it still works. I don't know how old the charts are or how often you need new charts. But yes, it will definitely be a subscription yearly.
Yeah, and I'll say this again: Boating HD Marines and Lakes by Navaronics SLR, which I'm going to guess is a country thing going on there. And if you go all the way down in the Play Store, it does say in-app purchases from $4.99 to $54.99.
Yeah, these also, there's a lot of 1-star reviews lately, and people aren't very happy with what they're doing. So who knows? Maybe it's a big scam after all.
Well,
I think it's too big to be a scam. I know lots of people that use this.
it could just be that the developers are in a state of flux because they're just hammering out all the things. So it might be better to wait. Hey, Ivor.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
You're right. So do you do any fishing?
Not when I can avoid it.
I understand.
No, I haven't done any fishing for years. We don't live near any water here, so it's difficult to get out and do that sort of thing.
Isn't New Zealand an island?
It certainly is, yes. That's why I'm living in the middle of it. Ever heard of tsunamis?
Yep. I'm going to bring another app here. I will say this is not a new app whatsoever, but this app finally came out of quote unquote beta. And I think they were kind of rushed because with the advent of of the Google Stadia upcoming, and I want to say it's called oh man, I can't remember what it's called now. The Xbox. There was a leak, an Xbox where they're going to sell just a controller that you can connect your phone to and play Xbox games. This is Steam Link by Valve Corporation. It is marked as a entertainment app. 15,000 reviews, for everyone, completely free to download, completely free to install, no ads, 4.2 average reviews, updated August 7th, 2019, varies in size, 1 million plus installs, current version 1.1.38. You need Android 5.0 and up. Permissions really aren't bad. It's just basically storage, phone, and network access. Storage, photo, and network access. Android 5.0 and up. Basically, what this app enables you to do is to have Steam installed on your desktop computer, and I believe it works with Linux as well. And then you load this app up, and it basically will extend your monitor cable from your PC to your phone, and you can play your PC games on your Android device. If you try to do it over the internet, over wireless, expect not to do good, is my logic, unless it's a game that does not require fast reflexes. But if you're on your local network, I can actually see this being actually fun and useful, and you can Bluetooth connect gamepads to your Android device and even use them.
So can you use this anywhere? The idea is you take your phone with you and you can game with it anywhere?
You could use it over your mobile connection, I'm sure, but I'm also pretty sure your result wouldn't be fantastic. In your own house, I would expect it to be a fine connection kind of thing.
There's quite a social community going on Steam, isn't there? So I think probably most of the people who'd use this would be into that social interaction rather than actual straight gaming. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. Do you have any apps that you would like to bring, Ivor?
Yes, I do. A little while ago, I was re-watching the Ken Burns Civil War documentary. Don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's an award-winning documentary on the American Civil War. It's something I have had a long interest in. And one of the I found an app that, as a result of that, was called Civil War Battle Maps. This is following on from watching the Civil War documentary, I also did watched a few documentaries on YouTube, and I found a YouTube channel called American Battlefield Trust, and I'll put the link in the chat now. To this particular app, but the American Battlefield Trust is a very interesting YouTube channel as well. It provides a lot of really good 10 to 15 minute documentaries on all the main conflicts that were in the Civil War. And Dor, you living in Maryland, that's practically Civil War Central.
Oh yeah,
you're not far from Antietam and all those sorts of places.
Oh yeah, there were
fascinating.
There were plenty of battles closer than that. It's just they're not as popular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there were battles all over the show around your area of the country. So, yeah, this is an app that lets you find various places. It gives you the background on the battles that occurred there. You can get GPS results. It shows you all the historical interest points, and it's actually quite a good, and it's a free app, and it will just basically guide you around the various Civil War battlefields that you happen to be near. And actually, it was with this app that I found a town in Virginia called Ivor. There's a town in Virginia called Ivor.
There you go.
And, it has 330 people living in it and 6 registered sex offenders. That's about all I could find out about it.
Well, it is Virginia, and I'll just say, if you look at the third screenshot in the Play Store, right below Washington in Virginia, there's also a town called Hooker.
Oh, great. but the American Battlefield Trust also has a lot of other apps that deal specifically with, the Gettysburg site or Manassas or Bull Run, the Overland Campaign. It's got basically an app for every major conflict site. So if you're a Civil War buff and you want to go and check out these battle sites, and hey, why wouldn't you? This is the app for you, or this is the American Battlefield Trust is the place to go to look for it.
Very cool. Yeah, I could see if I had a metal detector. If I was close to one of these sites, I would literally love to go there and just scour and see if I could even find bullets or, any kind of debris.
Oh yeah, you probably would too. There's a lot of it will be picked up in the plowing and all that sort of stuff.
Very cool. We do have an email here. I'm gonna basically read it because it's so short, and it's by Pete B. Very, very long time Podnutz supporter. First off, Pete, really thank you for the email. Good to hear from you. He said, "Good morning. I got an email from LastPass today informing me that my yearly renewal rate is jumping again. This time to $36 a year. That's way too high for my budget. I like the seamless ability to use LastPass on my PC and my phone, but $36 is way too much. Do you know of any low-cost alternatives to LastPass? I would like to stay under $20 a year if I can. Thanks for the suggestions." So I immediately emailed him back, and I basically just said, for some reason I don't see my reply. I basically said to him, well, what is it that LastPass did that they're not going to do now that you want? Because LastPass has a lot of features. It became the iTunes of password management. That's the best way I can explain it to the normal folks, and to the domain administrators, I'll say it's the Active Directory of password management tools, which means it does a ton more than just normal password management. And when I emailed him that, he basically said, that's a really good question. I don't know what I would lose versus what I have that I need. So he basically just waited, and he got an email back from LastPass when he asked what features would I lose, and they basically just sent him a chart with check boxes saying, this was in the free version, this was in the premium version. And he basically said, the only reason I got the paid version was because I wanted my family to use a family account with it, and all of my family said it was too complicated to use, so they don't use it anyway. So if I go back to the free version, I'm not losing anything. So I immediately said, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you right now, you need to also download LastPass, I want to say Pocket, on your desktop computer, and once a week, load the app, download your entire password vault, and be prepared to move away from LastPass. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The clock is ticking, and soon it's going to become insanely expensive for the normal features, or they're going to get breached, something severe. One of them is going to happen sooner or later. It's inevitable. So I'll just say, be prepared to move off of LastPass if you're on it. And then I'll ask you guys, do you use a password management solution? And if you do, which one do you like?
I've used LastPass for many years, but I've also, for the reasons you're stating, I mean, when I get a chunk of time to go to an open source password manager, I would like to do that to keep all of my data in my own hands. And like you said, if LastPass goes away, I try to back up my passwords every now and again, but I definitely don't do it as often as I should. So there are several open source alternatives. I have a friend who's used KeePass for a long time and really likes that. So I will definitely be going and trying different ones to find out which one that I want to use, something that is open source and self-hosted ideally.
Yeah, I
Ivor?
use LastPass as well, and I've been finding recently that the biggest problem I have with it is on the Android phone. The actual Android app itself on LastPass is giving me problems every time I try to use it. It's something to do also with the phone, because I've got a Huawei phone, and the battery permissions are quite aggressive on that. So I have to exclude LastPass from the battery optimizations. But even if you do that, you still end up with it being cut out from the background. And every time you try to use it, it tells you that you need to enable the permissions to write over or draw over other applications, and that happens every time you try to use it. So once you do that, and it's already enabled, so you have to turn it off and turn it back on again. And then once it does recognize you're trying to autofill something, it asks you twice if you want to autofill it. Once when you select the screen that you log in on, and then it comes up, "Do you want us to autofill?" You say yes, and then it says, "Are you sure you want us to autofill this?" Twice, and it's just a pain in the neck. So I actually seriously looked at another password manager yesterday. It's called 1Password, which was recommended by another podcast that I listened to, and I think I might give that a try. It is also the same price as LastPass, so I think I might try the other one.
Well, I'm going to funnel LastPass, aka LogMeIn support, home. And what I'll say is, your Huawei device is doing it because it really is trying to be more secure than the average Samsung, than the average Pixel, than the average Motorola, than the average LG, than the average whatever device.
Yeah.
They would suggest, well, then why don't you just load up LastPass and use the LastPass browser that's built in? So it wouldn't have to write over top other devices or other applications. I personally don't like that solution. I really don't like their browser.
No, the browser sucks, and
It's crap.
It happens in other apps as well. So yeah,
because I have to do the very same thing on mine, because I have a Huawei P20, and what I did was I put up in the notification shade in the icons, I actually have LastPass right there. So if I'm in an application or I'm in a browser and LastPass did get shut down, which does happen after 5 minutes of not being used, I'm in the app that I need it to be in. I scroll the notification shade down. I load LastPass right there. Fingerprint scan. Then after fingerprint scanning, do you want to re-enable? Yes. Next. Enable. Then I just back. And then I'm back at the application that I needed the password for.
I got a hold of LastPass help, support, and they said uninstall it and reinstall it again.
No, that does nothing. No, it's because Huawei wants to literally kill everything. Huawei is unbelievably sensitive towards battery usage.
I had similar issues in other phones, though, not just the Huawei phone. So I think a lot of it might also be the LastPass application itself.
Well, I'm going to guess it wasn't a Samsung, it wasn't an LG, it wasn't an HTC, it wasn't a Motorola, because none of them do security right.
With the Pixel 2, I've never had the application working right. The LastPass app, basically all I do is to say I open it and then copy the password and then paste it into the app that I want to use, and that's how I use it. And it's very clunky, and it's never worked properly.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have the autofill working seamlessly, when you want it to.
Yeah, I just can't wait for the day when we do not need usernames and passwords, which is going to happen. Yeah. The only question is when.
Squirrel.
Yeah, I know. I've already given Steve Gibson plenty of money. I don't have enough to give him right now. I'll go back to you, Josh. Do you have any more apps?
Oh yeah, I've got a sweet app.
I'm afraid.
I don't know why these aren't clickable links, but anyway, it is called Most Expensive Ball Game 2 by Jaha. It's considered an arcade. 3.3 reviews, or average reviews out of 263 reviews. 16 megs in size. Last updated June 14th, 2019. Current version 1, 10,000 plus installs. Requires Android 4.1 and up. So this has in-app purchases, according to this, of $1.89 per item, which I never saw. So the cost of this app is $449.99. And are you kidding me? So I got it. It was free for 2 days or whatever. So, you got to try it out. And it's actually it's that
599 New Zealand dollars for New Zealand.
just the most asinine thing that I've ever seen. But when it comes down to it, the game is actually quite fun. And it's basically just you're a ball, and you can't control where you're going. You can only control your speed. And so you're trying to avoid the different blocks and different obstacles. And so
It's $599. $599. What the hell? Why would you pay $600 for a ball game on a phone? Why? It makes no sense. What is up with these people? They think someone's actually they got one person to pay this much for a game, then they're going to make up back all their costs? It's ridiculous. The state of Android at the moment.
Tell us what you really think. Yes, and so the reviews that say, OMG, I spent like $340 on this app and thinking it was bad, but it's pretty addicting. The only bad thing is every time I die, ad pop. Well, the thing is, okay, so it's pretty sweet. You buy it for that much, and like I said, I got it for free. And then when you die, ads pop up. So not only is it $500,
and you get ads,
and you get ads,
and you get ads,
but the ads are free.
Well, I guarantee you, any review that says they spent a penny is a lie.
Oh yeah.
Even though it says that there's 10,000 plus installs, I guarantee you 99.999999999% of all installs were people who got it for free. If anybody is stupid enough to spend the full price on this game, I don't think they would have the brain power to fill out a review.
Well, I'm looking at the sidebar here, and there's a couple other by Jaha, which are right in that sweet spot of $450 to $475.
Oh,
I'm sure they're just waiting for that one.
Man, this takes me back to shit that sorry, didn't want me to swear. The state of the Android development community at the moment really, really has me worried. I'm going to share my phone with you right now. I'm going to try this. Sorry, have we got time for this, Door?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you here. And I'm going to show you an app from my phone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's an app called App Annie. I don't know if you guys have seen it before. This is a list of the most popular downloaded or apps for the United States. And these are all new. These are new apps that have come out. And you can see that the number one most popular new app, this is not including games, this is just apps, is a cleaner application. Now, cleaner applications, as we all know, are a huge security risk. They do nothing to actually clean up your phone or to make it faster. They're just there to steal your data. Number two, we've got a phone number locator. Oh, that's a nice one to steal your location data from you. Free MP3 music, another notorious malware harbor to download onto your phone. Again, another super booster. Number four, this booster nonsense that people fall for to try and get these are just platforms for advertising. Another cleaner, RAM cleaner, lightning cleaner, and then we go into the face app, copycat apps, add followers, another cleaner, down to shop. You see what I mean? The state of the Android ecosystem is, quite frankly, appalling. If this is the standard of new apps that are coming out by developers these days, then we've got a lot to worry about, especially if we're trying to get people to convert over from iOS.
If you scroll down slightly, do you get to most expensive ball game 2?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I would like to see the stats on that one. I'll look it up and let you know.
Yeah, and I'll say, not that I believe this, but the tech journalist people will say, well, that's just a sign of how successful Android is, because it's like YouTube, how every second there's 300 hours of video being uploaded. And of that, we all agree maybe 1% of it is actually quality content. With the Android ecosystem, I do believe maybe 1% of the applications that get uploaded get more than like 10 real installs and are actually worth anyone's time to actually use. The old number was the average Android phone only has 10 applications installed, and 8 of them came installed with the phone itself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's it just seems that every time you try and look for a new or interesting app that's useful or has some benefit, to your life, you don't mind paying money for it, just a little bit of money. But it just seems that every second app is something that's designed to serve you ads or something that's designed to steal your data. And that's all they want to do.
Well, I say that's why people. Well,
sorry, Karen.
Well, I say that's why people should watch Android App Addicts.
Absolutely.
Because like here is an application that I found. It is by NOAA, Science on a Sphere, and I have to say that very slowly. NOAA is the American National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, and it's called Science on a Sphere. Educational, under education category, 15 reviews, E for everyone, family friendly, completely free to download, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases, 4.2 average reviews, updated July 31st, 2019, 51 megs in size, 1,000 plus installs, current version 1.0, Android 5.0 and up, permissions, it basically needs location, photos, and storage and network. Essentially what this application does is it basically helps you identify things that you can see above you, like right now. Think of this as Google Sky on a lot of steroids is what I'm going to say, because it doesn't only tell you about space above you, but it tells you about the water and stuff around you. This is a very heavy, is what I'm going to say, educational app. Really in-depth information. SOS, Science on a Sphere, is one of the NOAA initiatives that they just started. They got a grant from the federal government to try to help spread science in an educational format to, normal people, is what I'm going to say.
Well, this gives me hope, at least. There are some people out there actually making an effort to provide useful and educational apps.
So this looks like it must rely heavily on streaming data, because it's only 51 megs in size, but it says it's full of videos, and it looks like it's a huge app. Yeah,
the impression I got was a lot of the data is online because it's literally constantly changing, kind of thing. That was their excuse for it. There is a desktop version called SOS Explorer. So if you don't want to use it on mobile, you want to use it on your desktop, just look for SOS Explorer. I know they have a Windows version. I think they have a Mac version, and I do think the Windows version will run on Linux. And they literally have an email right there, getsos.gsd@noaa.gov if you want to purchase exhibit quality content, which I will say, if I was an educator of some sort, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that
There's
looks.
a similar app from the International Space Station. You can look at live camera feed from the International Space Station when it's coming over your country, which is really cool.
Very cool. So do you have any more apps there, Josh?
That don't cost $600.
Well, I am highfalutin. So
Too easy, not saying anything.
yeah, this is a simple one because I'm highfalutin, but I'm also simple. So this is called Scrabble Word Checker by Boondoggle Labs, and the category is Word. It's rated teen. Updated August 3rd, 2019. Current version apparently varies by device. Installs 100,000 plus. Requires Android. Also varies with device. Permissions. Receive data from internet. Network access. Yeah. Nothing too egregious. It's a simple. My wife and I play Scrabble. We have an ongoing game when we're eating our meals. And so it used to be where, you'd be uptight Scrabble players. You challenge people for their words and, end up with a whole board of 3 or 4 letter words. And so we decided that we were going to go to where you could look up words and actually try to expand our vocabularies. And so, yeah, just use this to look up Scrabble words. And that's about it, really.
Very cool.
That's awesome. You play Scrabble very often?
Yeah, we do. We have an ongoing game pretty much all the time. So for usually breakfast and dinner, we'll, make words and try to learn. Education.
That's right. Yeah, I should get the kids into this. It's a good game to play.
It is.
I suck at spelling, so I don't play no Scrabble.
Well, I got an app for you. It's called Scrabble Word Checker by Boondoggle Labs.
Speaking of old school, I've got a couple of apps that go old school.
Cool.
First one is one that everyone should be familiar with. And I'll just put it in here. And it's Space Invaders by Taito Corporation. And I think it costs a bit of money, $3 or something. It is basically a recreation of the old Space Invaders you used to get in the game parlors with when the screens had their overlay of colored tape over this, so it looked like you're actually getting a color screen, but it was all just black and white. And it is very very close to the original game. And I was actually playing it for quite a while on my phone. It was took me back quite a few years. So that's worth a go. The other old school app I've got is going back to the Civil War again. It's the North versus South game. Now this used to be a game that we used to play quite a lot on my friend's Commodore 64, and it was one of the first kind of strategy games that I was introduced to, and we had a lot of fun playing this one as well. So with Space Invaders, we have requires Android 4.1 and up, current version 13, rated for 3+, here for everyone. and we have 26 megabyte install. So I was last updated on March the 7th. North and south, north versus south, we have 500,000 plus installs, rated for 3 plus, requires Android 2.0.1 and up. So that's going back a while. Last updated on the 31st of July. Digital purchases $2.39 per item for north and south. There's a free version and a paid version. So this is the free version, but I think the paid version is a bit different. Yeah, so those are two apps that take me back to my childhood, to my teenage years.
Okay, the north and south, at least in the video, shows you absolutely no game footage. So
Good.
how would you describe this actual game?
I installed it on my Chromebook, and I was running it on my Chromebook, and it was very close to the Commodore 64. It was actually very close to the original. It was like I was playing the original game.
Yeah, so it's like almost similar to like a Risk top-down map-based strategy resource management type
Even
thing.
down to the Native American in Arizona who comes across and throws a hatchet at you occasionally, just to screw things up.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I will say, yeah, we will link to the free version in the notes if you want to check out North versus South. But I will say, I'm slightly upset at the Space Invaders version only because of one reason. For the first 8 years Space Invaders was out, they don't have the right controls. There was actually 3 buttons. Actually, there was 5 buttons on a Space Invader console: 1 player, 2 player, fire, and then there was no joystick. There was 2 buttons: 1 button for left, 1
that's
button
right.
for right.
Yes, yeah, it used to be 1 for left and 1 for right. I remember that. Yeah, you never had a joystick either.
Yeah, and so that makes more sense playing Space Invaders. And it was weird. It was monochrome. The screen only displayed 1 color, but they would have different machines where in some the screen was tinted a color. In some, they would literally have these plastic cling wrap type overlays to give you the illusion of color kind of thing. I have no idea how much money I spent as a child playing Space Invaders, Defender, Asteroids, Joust, Galaga, those kinds of games, but I know I spent a hell of a lot.
Oh, we spent a fortune as well. Every Saturday, every weekend we were down there.
Yeah.
Playing on the Space Invaders.
Very cool.
Here the Space Invaders is $6.99 to buy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Here it's $4.99.
So maybe you're the highfalutin one.
Hey, I'm independently wealthy. I'm still not paying $600 for a stupid ball game.
It's only $450.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna bring one last app on my side, and the reason I'm bringing it is because I think it has a lot of polish. Is what I'm gonna say. It's a newer game called Unbroken Soul by Chorus Games. Arcade action adventure. Everyone 10 up, family friendly. 10 reviews, $2.49 to buy. No in-app ads, no in-app purchases. Kind of thing. 4.7 average reviews. It is eligible for the family plan, so you buy it once, share it with the entire family. Updated July 10th, 2019, 32 megs in size, 100 plus installs. Current version 1.0.1, 4.0 Android and up. Content rating, again, everyone 10 and up per missions are basically just network and Bluetooth devices. Nudge, nudge, know what I mean? Know what I mean? Full network access. So it has complete Bluetooth support built in. This is like a classic 16-bit platformer, but done today kind of thing. Unbelievably polished and smooth and really responsive controls is the way that I'll put it. $2.49. It's really hard to get, in my opinion, a better like bang for the buck ratio on gaming on Android. If you want to add it to your wish list, wait for it to go on sale and get it for like half price or something. But if you like, competitive, like side-scrolling platforming games with really good Bluetooth controller support, this to me is like near the top.
There's a lot of gameplay in the video for this one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't make it close to halfway done. And I played well over, I want to say 2 or 3 hours. Yeah.
I have a version to 16-bit games, I'm afraid.
You
what?
can squint your eyes and make it 8.
It's been too long wishing for 32-bit games to come along.
Can't help you there.
Mm.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't have any other apps. I don't believe we have any other emails in the queue.
I've got that.
Okay. Ivor, did you have any parting words you wanted to say?
I have one more app I would like to bring if I could.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my screen with you again and show you this particular app. This app is called Sketch a Day. Now, I haven't checked whether we've done this before, but I think it's a new app. And basically, the premise for this app is that once a day, they will release a word, like, as you can see here, Russia, machine, shoes, chest, and people who've got the app submit sketches that they've made of the subject. And you can go through and have a look at people's artwork based on what they've done for this particular one word. And there are some amazing artists out there who have done some incredible work to do this, and they just they post it. I'm sure there's a few people who steal other people's work as well, but there's some really amazing art that comes up. And if you just want something to have a look through, or even if you're someone who draws yourself, you can add this to your repertoire of apps and perhaps get some notoriety going for your work. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, there's some definite talent there.
No kidding. Yeah. That is a fantastic app.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll check it every day. Yeah.
It's a bit too cheap, but it's good.
You can give me some money for it if you want.
Very cool. Okay, so do you have any parting words for everyone?
Yeah, don't pay $600 for an app, and don't buy a Lenovo.
All righty. Josh, do you have any parting words?
Yes, we miss Mark, and hopefully everything's going well with him, and he'll stop by when he can. And everybody, be good to other people.
Very cool. Thank you very much. Rundown really quick. We have Firewallla, Microsoft Samsung marriage, Google Pixel class action, Huawei HarmonyOS, CryptPad, Fairphone 3, 9 cool old smartphone usage, Handyman Calculator, Check It Tree something, Boating HD, Marine and Lakes, Stream Length, Civil War Battle Maps, Most Expensive Ball Game 2, SOS Explorer, Scrabble Word Checker, Space Invaders, North versus South Free, Unbroken Soul, Sketch a Day, Daily Challenge to Learn and Share. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank everyone for their support. Please do not forget aaa@podnutz.com, the easy way to email the whole crew. You can also send us a voicemail at 7076-PODNUT. And do not forget, patreon.com/Android App Addict is the way to directly support the network and everyone on the show. I want to thank everyone again for their support. Thank everyone for coming out, and we will talk to everyone again next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Android App Addicts Podcast.
It's his 43rd anniversary of his death today.
Oh,
Elvis died 43 years ago today.
How come I didn't hear that today?
Well, because it's yesterday there.
Because
I
it's
didn't hear it.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow for you, it's May here.
All right. Do we stop Audacity here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. I will eventually understand this.
And
I'm
this
still peeking, man.
It's okay. 546. Exporting 5 saving 546. Exporting OGG quality of 8, 546. Save. Okay. Come over here. Control new. Bang. Bang. Public.
That was a great outro there, Door.
It was very good. Yeah.
No, but I forgot to record the intro part too. Damn it.
I can do an intro if you want.
Up to you, man.
How do you just do a new file?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay.
This makes sense.
I can't believe Ivor swore. Ivor.
It just fell out. Sorry.
What the hell's going on there? Okay, let me do this. Remove.
Sorry, Dor, I've got my audio in 2 parts because I had to restart my computer halfway through.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll just send you both files.
Okay, that worked. I was getting a little worried. And bookmark. There you go. Big money. Audio.
No whammies. No whammies.
Yeah, I actually watched a documentary about that guy and how he swindled everybody.
Nice. Does he develop apps by any chance?
No, I think he's dead.
Oh.
All right, guys, give me just 1 second. I got to go check on the kids. Because, of course, they're not in bed.
Of course not.
Why would they be in bed?
Man, where did you find a $600 app?
Oh, buddy. I have my ways. No, I use there's an app which I'll probably bring if it hasn't been brought, called App Sales.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just like you can go and it shows you which apps are free, that are on sale or free. And so I just saw it on there, and it's quite a fun game. But oh my god, what a bunch of crap that is, man!
I can't understand that. Just I have to say I'm worried. I'm worried about Android. It just seems to be turning into a vehicle for making money for very unscrupulous people and trying to trap people like kids and people who don't know anything about tech into installing their apps and destroying their phones and everything. It's just
Yeah, it's crazy, man. 400, and then like to get five-star reviews. Like, oh, I paid $340 for this,
right.
and yeah, whatever. You need to be my friend if you're doing that. Just send me money.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the first one. Okay. So, what are you going to do with all this smoked meat? All the smoked meat that you've been
I'm
making?
gonna eat it, man.
Are you going to sell it so you can buy some
Afford
more
more app. No, probably I'll freeze some of it, eat some of it now, but it's just so good, so good.
Yeah. I never had a proper smoker like you've got, but I used to use the kettle charcoal barbecue. And it would just have have that smoking for 2 or 3 hours with what you call Manuka charcoal. Manuka's a hardwood that grows here, and it's a lot like it's a very fragrant wood. It smells.
Okay. Sorry with that, guys.
Yeah, that's what I didn't have any more wood for smoking. Usually I've got a bag of apple wood and some hickory.
Yeah, it's
maybe,
very much like hickory. Yeah.
yeah, maybe some mesquite, but I didn't have any. So we bought a wood chipper a couple weeks ago. And last year I took down some alder trees and I've got some limbs. And so I just threw a limb through the wood chipper and then used alder to smoke this meat.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Shame Mark's not here because he's into barbecue, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he's from Texas. He sort of has to be.
Yeah.
Well,
but he brines his meat beforehand as well.
Well, and he'll say what he was doing was not barbecuing. There's grilling, there's barbecuing, and there's smoking, and all three are completely different.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna try to do this intro if nobody minds.
Go for it.
All right. Actually, what needs to be in here, Door, on this week's Android App Addicts, something like that, to start?
Yeah. I just say something like, this week on Android App Addicts.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I'll try it. On this week's Android App Addicts, Ivor loses his mind and poo-poos Lenovo. Door is Nostradamus, and Josh misses Mark. That all right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still the low end is hitting. I don't know what that means.
The bottom.
The bottom, yeah.
Yeah, bottom top doesn't matter. It's all the same.
So why is the bottom but not the top?
It's really difficult to explain, but
Well,
I'm going to guess the top is close at least.
Yeah, it's fairly close.
Okay. I'm here paying attention, just documenting the apps.
Yeah, that was fun, Ivor. You went ballistic.
Well, sorry.
No, it was...
I suppose you have to be entertaining somehow, don't you? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm still looking for my niche.
I liked your Scrabble idea.
Yeah, it's something to keep the mind working a little bit.
Have you ever been off to any of the Civil War battle sites, Door, around you?
I was at Gettysburg, and my sister was bitten by a copperhead.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Is that serious?
Yeah, it's one of the most deadly snakes in America.
She all right?
Yeah, she was close to dead.
Wow.
Right.
She had the line going from her foot up through her midsection to her torso where the poison was going up.
Jeez. Glad we don't have snakes here.
Yeah, you don't have to travel far though.
Yeah,
Well,
they all just stopped.
Here on the East Coast, we have weird amounts of poisonous stuff. Like the brown recluse spider is one of them around here. It's a spider that can get, the body of it can get the size of a large coin. And at full grown, it can jump easily like 6 to 8 feet. So if it wants to, it can bite you with you not even knowing it's close to you, kind of thing. And my one guy I know had an infestation of them in his house and he didn't know it. And he woke up one morning and there was in his leg that big around and in the middle of it that deep a chasm where there was no more skin or flesh.
Oh, Jesus.
They literally ate into his leg and through into his muscle.
Well, is that the spiders eating it or is that the venom?
It was
spider.
like a little bit of both is what they said. He was too inebriated to know that they were literally, you know, enjoying him while he was passed out.
Because there's what is it in Australia? I believe it's the white-tail spider. Also,
No, we have that. We have that here. They have the redback and a few other. They have the black widow and all sorts of bloody spiders over there that will kill
trapdoor spider, blah, blah,
funnel
blah.
webs, trap doors, and they're all nasty. Yeah. So here we have a white-tail spider, which some people have had a slight reaction to when they've been bitten by it, but it's nothing near what you get in Australia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they have the white-tail spider in Australia as well.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, they do. That's when I worked off the record. I worked there.
Oh, we are streaming.
Yeah. Well, say hypothetically, somebody was working there doing landscaping and was asked to move these heavy blue stones. They're called. I don't know if you got that there, but that stuff is dense and heavy. But move it from one pile to the other. And the first day, guy came up to me and said, do you want some gloves? I don't really like wearing gloves. So no, I'm okay. I said, well, make sure that you grab these things very tightly when you grab them the first time. Said, okay, why? He said, oh, because there's whitetail spiders in here. And if you don't kill it, it will bite you and you're going to the hospital. Said, yeah. So you got an extra pair of gloves or what?
I like gloves now.
Yeah. But so, Dor, did you change my username?
It's in the email.
Yeah, I know. But so you did actually, you changed it?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
lost what the old one was.
Oh, right. So you never got any of that back?
No, it went no.
No.
It's on a USB drive that has no SATA connector if you crack the case. So it only has a USB interface, and I've let it sit there for an hour, and it will not mount at all.
Yeah, that sucks.
Live and learn.
Okay, guys, I think I've uploaded both files, but I may have got one wrong. I'm not sure. Just let me know if it's wrong.
They're about the same size. One's 25.6, one's 29.6.
Okay.
They're close to the same size.
I'll just re-export the first one, I think.
Have you guys updated? I keep getting this LastPass has changed. Update it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm afraid to do that.
Because I couldn't be on the regular one for a while. I had to be on the beta, and then the beta expired, and it pushed me over to the full blown one. And then like a week later, a weird message asking me to update.
Yeah, when LogMeIn bought them and raised the price, then I stopped paying for it.
Same here.
Yeah,
I'm foolishly paying for it. I tried the family thing as well, but no way my family were going to be interested in doing that.
Yep.
They just don't get it.
Oh, jeez.
Ask them to give up firstborn. Okay. Now.
Geez. Not secure.
Not secure. Oh yeah, because it's a self-signed cert, which I hate that error message.
Yeah.
Whether it's self-signed has nothing to do with security. It has to do with authenticity. There's a difference.
I'm having issues logging in.
Copy paste.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, so that works.
come on, you can do it.
Bang. Bang.
Seems to be a bit of a resurgence in old school games coming back on Android as well at the moment.
Yeah, they come and go. I know Doom just came out, which definitely is going to help that crowd.
Yeah, I tried that. I played it for a while. It's really good. It's yeah, again, very close to the original. Yes, these old games do transfer quite well.
Well, you know, the power of these devices compared to the computer spec then.
Mm. I had to remember all the old tricks from my days of playing Doom. I haven't tried networking though. It's because one of the things we used to do at work was have it on the server and we'd have these Doom sessions for hours after work.
Yeah. Yeah, Doom was really good for that, doing the LAN play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Unbroken Soul. I've never been a fan of those like side scrolling where if you fall you die, or you have to like do multiple jumps off of walls and then do a secondary jump to a vine. Except for Contra. That one I liked.
But
But that was
you know what I didn't know about Contra?
up, down, left, right, PA
Yeah.
start.
The fact that after you beat it, it started over again, but every time it got harder.
Mm.
And the record with people not using the code was literally beating it 6 times back to back to back to back to back
Without using the code.
without using the code.
I
And
didn't
it
even know
gets,
you could. I didn't even know you could play it without the code.
my friend could beat it without the code. I could never get remotely close.
That was such a good game. That was one of the first games. It was the best game of the time that you could play 2 players simultaneously.
Yeah, co-op. But you know that wasn't the first game with the code, right?
It's probably another Konami game, I guess. Then.
Oh yeah, of course it was Konami. It was either Gradulus or Life Force. One or the other. You did the Konami code, and it didn't give you 30 lives. I can't remember what it did. It did something really good. Is what I'll say. I can't remember what it was.
I can't log in door with the credentials you sent me. Plus, I can't get the Nextcloud app to even run on this thing on Ubuntu.
Try Mint.
Mint isn't Mint. Mint is Ubuntu. There's no such thing as Mint.
True.
It's less than 8% code difference.
So it's Mint Cinnamon. What does that mean?
That's the desktop.
Yeah, it's just a different
All right.
desktop. Okay. So let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this.
Yeah, there's with Mint. There's cinnamon and as Dor likes to say, mate.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I like cinnamon better though.
That sounds a bit highfalutin.
It's a bit highfalutin.
Okay, so did it say password failure, Josh, or
It says wrong username or password. I've cut and paste.
okay, I just cut and paste and I logged in using that exactly.
Huh.
Are you using the email that you sent today?
A couple days ago. All right, let me.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that when you select the password that you're not getting an extra space at the end. Sometimes that happens.
It's clean. Try this. It thinks real hard. I do like that CryptPad too. I would be really interested if that was open source and self-hosting.
Got something for next week then.
Oh, it is open. It's on GitHub.
CryptPad.
The whole CryptPad.
Oh,
What's going to happen with that once it scales, though? It's going to slow down, or are you going to have
They'll start charging you.
yeah.
a million people trying to use it?
Yeah, if it gets too popular, they're going to have to charge for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the GitHub.
Okay, guys, I've got to go and collect my kids from school.
All right, man. Hope the other one feels better.
Yeah. Let me know if you have any trouble with that file, or the files that I've uploaded. All right.
Will do.
All right. See you guys.
All right, man.
Yeah, Ivor. Yeah, I can't get indoor.
Okay, give me a second. All right, guys, I'm going to kill the stream. Kill this.